So we are on to episode 11 of season 2, entitled Excelsis Dei. Brian, this one is a big mythology episode. This is a big episode in the X-Files vault. I've got a funny feeling I know the answer to this one already.
No, it's not. It is what I would call a piss poor episode, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this isn't going to be a pleasant experience, I don't think. It's certainly not to watch it. Not unless you see something I didn't, but yeah.
Might have.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's just get into it. Okay, so we start off, we see this kind of old-looking building. Looks like a mental home or an institution of some kind, old people's home. A nurse makes her way in. Two dudes are watching a boxing match on TV. They work there, so two orderlies by the look of it. They tell her someone died today, and they didn't change the room. So they left it for her to do. So she grabs... So
men watch boxing, women do work.
Yeah, pretty much. So sexist pigs all around. So she grabs some linens, goes in to see two pervy old men, basically, is the only way to describe them. Switches off their TV, tells Gunn not to let them watch it after 9 p.m. Gunn is this...
Orderly?
Orderly, yeah. He's... yeah. He's the Chinese one, isn't he? Or Korean or something. Yeah, whatever.
He's the Asian one.
He's Asian. So she goes to change the dead woman's linens, and then she's attacked by an invisible force.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a ghost.
Yeah. Now.
Or is it?
I haven't done this before, Brian, but I would like to read you my notes for this opening scene, because they're quite sparse.
Go on.
Okay. Creepy Halloween vibe. Old horny guys. Poltergeist / the entity. Awesome. No bones about it. Ghost fucked. I don't even remember writing that, but that sounds like the scribbles of a madman.
That's like streams of consciousness, isn't it? It's just, you've just left a pen in your hand, and whatever comes to your head, it just comes out. Yeah.
Pretty much is. I mean, I don't know what I mean by Halloween vibe.
Yeah, I can see it. You know, like, I think when we see the building at the start, it does have that kind of Halloween 2 in the hospital kind of vibe about it. But
and then, have you seen The Entity?
I've not. I'm aware of it, but I've not seen it.
Yeah. Well, it's a woman gets raped by a ghost in that, which brought that to mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking ghost immediately. I mean, there's no really.
Yeah.
It's
not rocket science, is it?
No.
Right. Okay. So you like the intro? You're intrigued. You're on board, or
I kind of after episode 10, Red Museum, where there was so much going on, you didn't know where the episode was going. It was kind of nice just to be like, okay, it's ghosts.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
You know, it felt
until we actually get
because it felt
into
there's a bit
the
too much
episode
going on.
when we find out that it's not
10?
ghosts.
It's not ghosts.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Mulder is Mulder's in his office, and Scully walks in, and Mulder rather amusingly says, "Whatever tape you found in that VCR, it ain't mine." Alluding once more to his porn addiction. And Scully says, "Good, because I took it out and put it in that drawer with all the other videotapes that aren't yours." Which, quite frankly, is the best moment of this episode. It's a nice, funny little exchange between Mulder and Scully, and it's literally the highlight of this episode. Everything from here on out is downhill. So Scully says the woman on her video, Michelle, which is the woman who was just attacked, claims to have been raped by an invisible entity, but that she knows who that entity is. The old man who grabbed her ass at the start of the episode. So the two pervy old men, one of them had grabbed her ass, and yeah, she thinks it's him, which is surprising because obviously he ain't dead.
And we get a little bit of the role reversal again. This happens every now and again where Mulder is the skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just seems wrong. But straight from the off, he's like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's caused by trauma. They start to make up excuses for things and blah, blah, blah. And Scully's really driving this case. It's one that she wants to investigate, which is unusual for the X-Files as well.
Well, I think it's because it's a woman involved, because it's a woman who's been attacked. I think obviously she's going to feel some kind of affinity to that.
And let's face it, the video shows that there is evidence that she was viciously attacked.
Yeah. And it's like I can kind of see where Mulder's coming from, because he's approaching this from a paranormal kind of perspective, and I think he's going off previous cases that he's worked on. So I guess it looks open and shut to him. So it's not like he's dismissive of paranormal activity. It's just that based on other cases, it doesn't seem to fit. But even so, it does feel like, you know what, this woman in the video looks like she's pretty banged up. I'd at the very least be curious to go and meet her and hear her out. So, that's precisely what they do. Mulder and Scully go to see her and say they need hard evidence. She says she didn't make it up, and she's no shrinking violet. So you do get the sense right off the bat with this woman, she's not. She's quite tough. She's not someone who would be taken down like pretty easily or anything like that. You get the feeling she's got a bit of an attitude that, which does kind of it kind of goes into the theory that we get a little later that she's trying to make a claim, so to speak. But
I think this is a good performance here. I quite liked it.
Yeah, I like the woman who's playing her. I think she's good. But doesn't stop the episode.
Even though she's wearing a denim shirt and jeans.
Okay.
It's not right, Joe. It's not right. It's just not right.
Right. So Mulder and Scully speak with the accused, who laughs it off as ridiculous. He makes jokes about his plumbing, and another old guy is brought in to have a bath. Has an odd look on his face, and the nurse is a bit douchey with him. Yeah.
I like the first old guy. I think he's pretty funny, especially when he opens his robe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just got to that old cantankerous age where he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, now this is one of those episodes where actually now, because I have seen it before, my judgment completely changes. So because I know where this episode is going, because I know that actually this guy is guilty, I do not find him funny. Not in the least.
Right, okay.
I think first time I watched this, I probably would have laughed. Like you say, it's funny. He says what he says, and it does seem a bit ridiculous. And because of how he says it, and he seems quite innocent about it, you do get the sense that, okay, something paranormal's going on, but this guy doesn't have anything to do with it. So, you still feel sorry for the woman, but you also, you recognise this guy, he's just an old man, something else is going on. But actually, you know, when we will find out in the episode that he is behind this. He has done some of this.
Did he?
Well, him and his mate, you know, both of the two, like, but the two of them are responsible for this. And for that, I just, you know, even if he didn't lay hands on her, he's an accessory in some way. And I don't know, watching it with that in mind, I can't bring myself to laugh at this guy. I actually...
Yeah, I think I've missed something, but we'll probably get to it at some point.
Yeah, okay.
Because I thought it was the ghosts of other dead people that were doing it.
No, that's not what I got. I got it that...
Astral projection?
Yeah, like astral projection kind of thing. I don't know. Well, there you go. Bit muddled, isn't it? I don't know. I find this episode so depressing, so oppressive, so just dark and dank and dull, and it's the environment, it's the characters, it's the situation, it's you know, an old people's home where everyone's coming to the end of their life. They're all depressed. There's some real like mental cases in there that, you know, the senile dementia, and it's not the kind of environment where you can produce something that is anything other than depressing, you know. It is. I don't know about you. I don't know how you feel about this episode, but
it's intrinsically a depressing place, but that's what these places are. But these people are taking this drug that's rejuvenating them. It's giving them that zest for life again. You see it in the artist. You see it in some of the guys like rushing about and running about. They have this renewed vigour.
yeah,
Almost like
it's basically awakenings crossed with the entity.
I was thinking Cocoon.
Cocoon, yeah, Cocoon's another one. It's just, I don't know. There's something off about these two old guys. They are pervs, and particularly the other one. One of them, at any rate, is responsible for killing an orderly at some point later on in the episode. He runs up, doesn't he, to the roof?
Yeah, but again, it's not either of them that pushes it. It's like a spirit.
Oh, yeah, it's just...
But then I don't know why. I don't know why or how the spirits would be there.
Well, it's like whatever.
Because when the old dear starts seeing them later on, they don't look familiar.
Yeah, I mean, it's that drug, innit? The drug that they're taking
Rejuvenates them.
it rejuvenates them, but it also awakens, I guess, some kind of sixth sense that allows the spirits in. It kind of, I don't know, bridges the gap, I guess, between the spirit world and the real world. It's muddled as heck, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I just let's try and move on. We'll see if we can make sense of it as we go along.
Okay.
So
we're at the interview with the head doctor.
yeah, Mulder and Scully speak with the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we've had that. So we've got this female manager of Excelsis Dei, and she gives Mulder and Scully a talk about the history of the place. Also mentions that a Dr. Gregor is treating the residents. She makes this thing about how they like to call them residents and not inmates or patients or anything like that. When Mulder asks about the treatment of Hal, she closes up and turns the attention to Michelle. Almost like she's trying to trying to point blame elsewhere. It's like, yeah. So Hal is the guy we just met in the bathtub, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think Stam's the guy that came into the bathroom.
Right.
Or
Okay.
the bath. Yeah.
Right. Okay. What do you make of this woman right off the bat?
Yeah, she seems a little bit fishy.
Yeah, I don't trust her as far as I could throw her. She seems like Nurse Ratchet out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, quite frankly.
On a bad day.
On a bad day, yeah. And, yeah. Okay, so Stan, who is the other guy. So we've got Hal and we've got Stan. So Hal is the one we just met in the bathtub, the one who's been accused. And we've got his buddy, Stan, who, for whatever reason, just rubs me the wrong way. I just do not like this guy. He's watching from the window, and he tells Hal to be more careful, and he takes a pill. And Hal wants one as well. Sees him take this pill, and he's like, "Oh, give me one, give me one." And it's like threatens to rat Stan out if he doesn't give him one. A pill, that is.
Yeah, it feels very, like I said, cocoonish in this. And I don't take these guys as being bad guys. This is my first time watching this episode, obviously, or what I can remember. And I take it as they've got something that is giving them a renewed sense of their old selves. And I think they are sheepish and being kind of quiet about it because they don't want anybody to take it away from them. But I think it's just the fact this is making them feel fantastic is why they're so careful about who they're talking to and how they want to protect this drug.
Okay.
So I don't get it. I didn't get it as them being behind all this.
Right. Okay. You might be right, to be honest. I think I was just checked out right from the start. Yeah. It's the atmosphere of this episode. It just turns me right off. Either way, Stan rubs me the wrong way. So the manager shows Mulder and Scully Michelle's file. She's got a history, apparently, of claims against her employers. Just as Mulder asks her if she believes Michelle could have faked her injuries, a man bursts in to tell them that Hal needs a medic.
Yeah.
Okay. So they get to Hal, who is having trouble breathing, and Scully goes to work on him. All right.
And yeah, and even though he's in the same room as Stan, I still don't think like Stan's culpable for this. I just think that it's a drug.
Yeah, well, he's taking the drug, Annie, when he shouldn't have done, and
Yeah.
okay. So from there, Hal's dead body is taken away in an ambulance. Mulder and Scully talk to Dr. Gregor, who says he's been treating them with an experimental drug that seems to be reversing the effects of Alzheimer's. So awakenings, basically. Scully asks to see the other patients. So what about this guy? What do you make of Dr. Gregor?
Oh yeah. As soon as he said like experimental treatment, it's like alarm bells going off, isn't it? Really? You're like, it's all this guy.
I get the sense that this guy is on the level, though. I get the sense he's trying. He's trying, new procedures, experimental drugs, but with the best intentions. I don't think he's got anything, dodgy going on.
No.
But pardon me. So So from there we've got Gung or Gun. I'm not quite sure his name is. I think it's Gung. Gung. Yeah, Gung. Yeah. He watches from the window. We get a lot of people watching from windows in this episode. I being confined to this one location as well it makes me feel quite oppressed. We never go off anywhere else. It's all in this Excelsis Dei home, and it kind of feels like that was maybe a budgetary thing. And going back to my least favourite episode of season 1, where they were kind of confined to the NASA building. Makes me think that maybe they should stop doing that. But
like you said, with the images of people just watching, this is the second time we've had an image of Gunn, and he's not spoken a word yet. He's always in the background, so like instantly I'm like, is all this guy?
Yeah. Okay. So Gung's watching from the window, and he takes another one of the pills. Stan takes another one of the pills. Says it was Hal's. Gung tells him no more. Basically, gives him a bit of a telling off. Says he shouldn't be taking any more. So yeah,
Gung did it.
Gung did it. Gung's responsible.
We kind of go for there to the artist, don't we?
Are you even remotely invested at this point?
Not particularly, no. But I wouldn't say that I'm not having any fun.
So I don't know what it is, but I'm bored. I'm literally bored with this. Like, they're trying to build this mystery with Gung and these tablets, and it's not getting me. It's not grabbing me in any way.
I'm kind of curious as to what these tablets are and what they're doing and the effects it's having on people and what's behind it all. I'm still kind of curious as to what's going on.
I don't know. I feel like maybe they're giving too much away too soon.
Right.
Like, I don't think we should have seen Stan and Hal even taking these tablets.
Right.
Because,
okay.
because we're told that Dr. Gregor is using this experimental drug. Yeah, he's using this experimental procedure. So we see these tablets and we think, okay, that's Dr. Gregor's experimental drug. But then instantly we're shown that actually it's Gung who's administering it. So is Gung responsible or what? I don't know.
I think you're carrying that from previous watches because I never got this moment that it was Gung administering it.
Maybe you're right.
But I mean, he's an orderly, so he could be the one that supplies pills and gets him to take it, and he could be like, he knows that's not theirs, and he's just like, no more.
Yeah, I think I am having trouble seeing this with fresh eyes. I think I'm carrying all my past watches to, because going into this, I knew I wasn't going to like it. It's never been an episode that I like to return to. In fact, I do tend to avoid it. So I think kind of forcing myself to watch it for the sake of this podcast, I think I've gone in maybe with the wrong attitude. I don't know. Maybe I should have gone in a bit more open-minded, but I don't know.
There's no energy for it.
There isn't. There is no energy for it. But I don't know. I feel like we're being shown things that maybe we shouldn't be shown if we want to keep the intrigue. I don't know. I could be wrong. Gregor takes Mulder and Scully to see Leo, a man who can draw again thanks to the drug. So Leo says it ain't the drugs. Doesn't have a chance to explain because he is whisked away by douchebags. Though why Mulder and Scully wouldn't ask them, wait a while they continued their investigation, is anyone's guess. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, but you are two FBI agents, okay? You have the weight of the federal government behind you. You are questioning someone about this case. You've got a woman who's been attacked, possibly raped. You've got a guy who's just died under, quite frankly, suspicious circumstances. Mm-hmm. And then some guy tells you it ain't the drugs. And you just let the orderlies wheel him away? You don't say, excuse me, 2 minutes. We need to just question him about this. Something he's just said. Hang on. Clarify what you've just said, pal. They just let him get whisked away. Okay.
Maybe somebody just really wanted to steal that picture.
Oh, yeah. Just
which doesn't make sense because quite clearly it is the drugs. Later on in the episode, with hindsight, it's quite clearly the drugs.
right. Okay. So Mulder wants to go. He just wants to leave. I think he's done with his case. He's about as bored with it as I am. Scully wants to stay. So he thinks Michelle concocted the story to get out of work, and she thinks not. I gotta say, I don't really like Mulder in that moment.
Right.
I don't really feel that Mulder has a lot of compassion at this moment. I know he doesn't. He's not known for like splurging out compassion, but he's also not someone who lacks compassion, I feel. And I feel like here he does seem to be very like too quick, I think. And again, especially just coming off the back of that scene in which, you know, a guy was about to tell them something that could be quite vital and got whisked away. And so Mulder it feels very, I don't know, it feels like they're trying to force some kind of friction or conflict between Mulder and Scully, but it just doesn't work. It's like, you know, we're in a case where Scully wants to pursue it, Mulder doesn't. Oh, is it going to cause friction? No, it isn't, because they don't really address it properly. It's pretty badly handled. Yeah, but yeah. Well, I don't know.
I like the line at it when Mulder says you're looking for something that's not here, which is Mulder for the past every episode.
Yeah, it's like pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go from there, and we see a male nurse tries to force feed Dorothy.
Yeah.
So Dorothy's this old woman, and yeah, I just don't like this scene. I don't know. I just don't like seeing the mistreatment of old people. I get that that's one of the themes of the episode. I get that's kind of where they're trying to go. You know, we see that these old people get a new vigor for life, and I don't know. I just sitting down for 40 minutes and watching old people get abused isn't my idea of a good time. You know what I mean?
Then you are missing out, Brian.
Yeah. You know, if that's your bag, if you enjoy that, then this is definitely the episode for you. But for me, it's just depressing.
I honestly never get any of that at all.
Right.
Could be me.
Could be you. Could be me. I don't know.
Probably you.
Okay. So I mean, I can't even remember why that scene is there. It's just a random moment when the male nurse tries to force feed Dorothy.
I think it's just showing her kind of fading back to her older self, because after that she has a conversation with the guy about getting more of the pill.
Yeah.
You know, she's lost her appetite, much like she's losing her appetite for life again.
Yeah. Right. So
grab those straws.
yeah, you grasp hard at those straws. I'm still not. I'm still pretty clueless as to whether you're liking this episode or not. But so Leo asks Gung for more of the pills. He says they have. Gung says they have enough, but Leo tells Dorothy they can get some from Stan. Oh,
Stan's the man.
The intrigue builds.
I'm intrigued.
I don't feel like these characters are developed enough, quite frankly. All we know about them is that they take this drug. They're often rather abused by the staff, and they they want the drug from Stan. They know that Stan can provide. Literally, that's all the information we know about him. So we considering the amount of time we spend with these people, we're never really allowed to. We're not allowed in. We don't know them. I don't care about them.
I think that's the point, Brian. Nobody cares about them. That's why they're there.
But
They were put out to pasture. They're there to die. I mean, Stan's daughter even says that. I thought we were bringing them here for him to die.
yeah, that's a theme in the episode. But if you want to explore that theme, if you want to make it like the gut punch, so to speak, to the audience, then we need to be on their side. We need to be thinking, somebody help these people, or somebody give them more tablets so that they can get out themselves. But I don't care about them. And considering the amount of time we spend with them and not with Mulder and Scully, I feel like I should care about them more. And I just don't.
Okay.
Anyway.
Stan is leaving.
Yeah, well, Gregor takes Mulder and Scully to see Leo, a man who... Oh, sorry. I've been over that, haven't I?
Mm.
Sorry. Right. Okay. So Stan is going home. His daughter has come to pick him up, but he doesn't want to go. Mm-hmm. Mulder and Scully appear, want to speak to Stan, and the daughter says, "Anything I can help you with?" So, yeah. She tells them that she thought they were bringing... Yeah, like you just said, she thought they were bringing him here to die, but now he seems like a different man.
Yeah, like a whole new Stan.
Yeah. I kind of like this scene just because I do like the commentary that it makes on... And we don't want to get into like judgment, because people often have to put loved ones into places like this because they have no choice. They don't have the finances. They don't have literally the physical ability to look after them themselves. They may not have the mental capability to look after them themselves. So you can't tar everyone with the same brush. But I also feel like, as a society, is this the case? Do we put our older people out to pasture, and just leave them to essentially die in these places that, some people who work in them may have the best intentions, but because of the infrastructure, because of the system, it just becomes, quite depressing, quite torturous. And so I like this scene for that reason, that it does explore that. But it makes you question it. But yeah,
This is the whole Stan on the run, isn't it? Being chased by the orderly.
Yeah.
So which is quite a good chase scene. I quite like it.
Is it?
Yeah, Stan.
Right.
I mean, you never actually see Stan in a long shot. You always see close up of his feet, and be a shot of his face.
Yeah.
And then he gets out onto the roof rather easily.
Yeah.
In this old person's home.
Yeah, he runs like a track runner, basically.
Yeah.
And the nurse follows him up onto the roof, where he's pushed off. So, like, we don't see who pushes him off.
No.
But it's not like with what's her face? The nurse at the beginning, the one who was raped, like, we literally see her get pushed by an invisible entity. Like, we see her body kind of get flipped over on the bed. Whereas with this bit, it's shot in such a way that it could be an invisible entity, it could be Stan.
Yeah, but the bit after this has got the fingers being loosened. as he's clutching onto the window frame, they're being lifted
Yeah, yeah.
at a time.
Okay. All right.
So,
Fair enough. Okay. So yeah, all right. So Mulder runs up, takes forever to get up there, and tries to help, but the guy falls to his death.
I'll
After
tell you something. Scully would have pulled him back in.
Scully would have had no trouble.
Left-handed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Gregor arrives. Dr. Gregor. Mulder tells him that the orderly may have been pushed, and Stan is the prime suspect. Gregor says it's not possible as he has a degenerative hip disease. Mulder asks if they can check whether the post-mortem on Hal has come through yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Lots of information.
Lots of information I don't care about.
Yeah, then you like you say, Brian, you've come into this with negative
feelings
and connotations.
Give me something positive, Graham. Give me something positive. Tell me. Come on.
See, I want to get to the end of it because I want to figure out exactly who's behind all this. Because when we get to the end, we know that when Stan dies, the door is opened and the water comes out, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's as if Stan's locking it in, but I don't know if Stan was the conduit to let the spirits through.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just as if there's one ghost there. When Dorothy sees them, there's like several of them. You get the rape at the start. That's in the room where the guy died earlier that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stan's quite clearly like handcuffed to the bed or strapped into the bed, and you never see any moments of them like lying there as if they're having out of body experiences.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a clear divide here. I think there's like a spiritual world that's causing all the problems here, mischievously because of the way they were treated when they were alive in this place.
Yeah.
And then I think you've got these group of elderly people who have been put out to pasture, put out to die, who've been given an experimental drug mixed with Gung's drug, who just have a renewed vigour, who just want to be around and have some resemblance of a better life.
So I think one of the troubles with this episode is very similar to what we got with Red Museum, which is they're trying to put too many eggs in one basket. And I think this storyline with the drug that Gung is giving these elderly patients is almost a separate entity to what's actually going on.
I believe so. I don't think the episode is clear. In fact, I think it's anything but. It's as clear as mud, but I think it is two different things. I think you have a spiritual entity, and I think you have the effects of this drug.
Yeah, but I feel like it's this drug that Gung is giving them that has opened up some kind of doorway. Maybe because it's mixed.
Well, I think that's all Stan. I think it's something in Stan that's helping to connect these two worlds almost.
But there's nothing other than Stan dying and then the ghosts disappearing. There isn't really anything else to explain that, to say why it's happening, to say what it is about Stan that makes him so special. That
It could have been that.
muddled.
I mean, I'm totally making this up, right? But they do say that he was extremely close to death when he went in there. They thought he was going to die, so maybe he was that close to that side that he's brought something back when he's become rejuvenated again or gained his life back. I know I could be reaching again.
Maybe it's just like in the X-Files. I'm used to Mulder coming to that conclusion and then telling us, saying this is what I think, because that's usually what would happen. They don't usually just leave it to the audience to make up their own theory as to what went on. If that's the theory, if that's the thing, then it comes from Mulder's mouth, and because it doesn't here, I don't know. It just feels like we've got these almost two separate storylines going on, but they are connected in some way. I'm just not quite sure where that connection begins and where it ends, and it's just
I mean, it's got to be Stan. Has to be Stan. That connects these two things. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, let's. Okay. So Scully overhears Michelle telling the manager that she's been telling them all along Stan and Hal had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then Dorothy shoos some ghosts out of her room.
Yeah.
Ghosts that sniff Scully. Then walk after her as she leaves.
Yeah, and none of these people look familiar.
Uh-huh.
Which is why I'm thinking, look, if it was Stan, surely it would have been Stan.
Yeah. I do find this scene a little unsettling, I gotta say.
Yeah. I quite like it.
Yeah. It does make the hairs on the back of my neck kind of stand up, because it's like...
And again, what I like about this scene as well is you have the feeling that Scully is aware that there's something going on here.
Mm-hmm.
All through the 2 seasons, but there's always been hinting at the fact that she is attuned to certain things.
Yeah.
Even though she's not as open and willing to receive it as she may be, like her sister is, she's always aware that there's other things going on. And I think that she's aware right now there's something odd round about her.
Yeah. Okay.
The best summation yet.
Yeah. Mulder and Gregor get the autopsy report. Toxicology finds traces of a drug that can be poisonous in larger amounts, but cause hallucinations in smaller doses. Michelle comes in and says, "You have to come and see this." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, hallucinations. Okay,
yeah.
Moving on. All right. Are these actual spirits or are they hallucinations? I don't know. Yeah.
But it would be strange that only one person's suffering hallucinations.
Yeah. Leo's painted a huge picture on the wall, so that's the thing that she's told him to come and see. He's basically gone all Michelangelo. On the wall. Mulder's natural response is, "You've got an Asian orderly working here. Where is he?" It's like, what?
It's like Fox Mulder, FBI agent, xenophobe.
Yeah, it's just like, well, where's the connection there? You've seen this guy just paint this picture. They get pulled out of the office, they see this picture, and they're looking at it in awe. First thing that comes to Mulder's head, you've got an Asian orderly working here, haven't you? Where is he? Okay, fair enough. Moving on. Mulder goes down to the basement to search for Gung, finds a ton of mushrooms and a dead body. And the dead body is Upshaw. Mm-hmm. Who the hell is Upshaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, man, I must have been so checked out by this point.
I thought it was the guy that fell from the roof, but it can't be.
They'd have taken his body away in an ambulance. So I'm watching this, and he says, "Yeah, it's Upshaw's body." I'm like, "Who the hell is Upshaw?" And I'm racking my brains. I cannot think who Upshaw is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a terrific image. Like that whole room with the water leaking down and the mushrooms growing and then the body in it.
It's really dull and dank and depressing. And yeah, very unfitting with this episode. Gung says that the residents are mistreated. Where he comes from, whole generations live under one roof. Here, families abandon their elderly. The mushrooms are used to speak with the dead, but they have awakened a vengeful spirit. So...
Good old Gung.
Good old Gung, yeah.
Gung Ho.
So, with that piece of information in mind, Has Stan taken these drugs to speak with the dead?
No, he's just taking the drugs to rejuvenate himself, and it's opened a connection.
It's just Gung, he just throws this thing out that's what they're used for. They're used to speak to the dead. He doesn't say they're used to rejuvenate the elderly and make them run like Lingford Christie. They're used to speak with the dead. It's just
but they've been taking large doses of it, and I think I took it as well the fact that this is mixed with the experimental drug.
Yeah. The treatment that Gregor's giving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mulder and Scully go down with Gung to get the rest of his pills, but they're gone. Mulder tells Scully he thinks the mushrooms are the things that are causing this. No crap, Sherlock.
Oh, Brian, so jaded.
Yeah. Stan crams more tablets down his neck. This guy's literally just popping pills left, right, and centre by this point. Dorothy starts shooing away more spirits. Leo calls for help, and a body is dragged off down a corridor while someone screams, alerting Mulder and Scully, who, quite frankly, should not be able to hear them because they're down in the basement. Like, literally, this whole sequence now just goes completely off the rails. I do not have a clue what is going on. You see a body getting dragged down the corridor, and until we move on into a couple of scenes later, I have no clue who it is. I have no clue who's getting dragged down that corridor. We hear a scream, and it's just, all this stuff is just so closely bunched together. We've got crazy Dorothy shooing these spirits away. We've got Leo going off on one. We've got Stan popping pills. We've got a body being dragged off randomly by a ghost after we've heard a scream. And Mulder and Scully somehow managed to hear this when they're like, what, at least three floors down in the basement. Mm-hmm. I reiterate again. Okay.
Oh, the sound's probably travelled through the pipes or something.
Whatever. So, Mulder and Scully run somewhere where Mulder sees Michelle thrown across the room. Scully gets locked out, as per usual. Then the pipes burst, filling the room with water.
Terrifying ordeal.
Uh-huh. The water doesn't seem to trickle under the door jamb. No.
Is it not like? Is there a jar on the door? Is it not?
I don't know. I don't care, quite frankly. Oh man, Scully and Gung try to shut off the water. Then Stan's daughter randomly pops up again and asks Scully to help her father. It's so chaotic. The events, everything that's going on is so chaotic. It's like, hey, come to this room. But come over here. Someone's being dragged away. Oh, but go upstairs. There's something going on. Oh, but you've been locked out. Oh, now some other random character who we didn't even realise was still here just comes in and you have to go and check something else out because something random's happening. It's like flipping Nora.
You leave Nora out of this, Brian.
Yeah.
This is you and your negativity.
It is. My negativity is really infecting this one. So Scully sends Gregor. Gregor injects Stan with something calming him down. The spirits all disappear and the door to the room full of water bursts open. Why do the spirits leave?
Stan's dead.
That was my question. Yeah. We get that answer. He does die, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we have Scully's voiceover where Gung is being deported. Ah, yes. Nothing like a good bit of deportation to settle the score. No, quite frankly, I'd imagine it'd be more likely that some government office somewhere would take him and his little drugs and whisk him off somewhere to do a little bit of experimentation. Now that the drugs have stopped, the patients are reverting back to their former state. The hospital has been taken over by someone else. Stan's daughter says she'll visit again, maybe next week. Yeah, so Stan is alive. Stan's not dead. Her daughter says she's going to visit. So basically, the drug just calms him down. He's not dead. He is still alive. So those spirits disappear randomly.
Don't know.
Okay? Not randomly. It's because Stan he's been drugged, he's been calmed out. So the link is definitely Stan. So somehow Stan has opened a doorway between our world and the spiritual world, and he's done it because he's been taking too much of these drugs. So when the doctor doses him up, kind of, calms him down, relaxes him, it closes that door and the spirits go away. But yeah, there you go.
Right, on you go, Brian. Wrap this one up.
I did not like this episode. Clearly. And I'm looking at my grade here. I actually gave it a 2 out of 5. I don't know why. Because I've done nothing but rip it to shreds. And I can't ever see myself choosing to put this on again. I just found it depressing. Depressing, dull, with characters I didn't care about, even though I should. I should feel sympathy for these people. And there are scenes in there that I just... It was a slog. That's all I can say. From start to finish, this was a slog. I was not invested. I was not on board. Mulder does stuff that I don't like. I don't like his character at times in this. I find him very unsympathetic, very uncompassionate.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5.
Whoo, there we go. I didn't hate this episode like you did. I had some fun with it. I liked the sort of characters that were in it, the old folk. I liked some of the set pieces, especially the spooky ghosts later on. I liked some of the imagery it had of the guy painting the large mural, or the mushrooms in the basement, or even the tense chase scene with Stan up and down on the roof and things like that. And I don't know if it was the fact that I was fearing the worst, but it never really came to fruition. I don't think it's one of the best episodes, that's clear. So I mean, it's not going to get a 5, Brian, relax. I gave it 4.5. Only joking. No, for me, it's middle of the road. I'm trying to decide right now, somewhere between a 2.5 and a 3. And I think I'd probably go for 2.5, because I did have some fun with it, but there's obvious problems within the episode itself. But no, I think it's maybe just one of these episodes for some reason it just niggles at you. Fair enough, but yeah. Has this one talked about much?
From what I can tell, most X-Files fans I speak to seem to be roughly on the same page as me.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so tell me just a brief little bit about Aubrey.
I think I don't know. I think we're gonna like this one. It's got a bit of a Silence of the Lambs vibe about it.
Okay.
It's got a serial killer element. It's got
Sold.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So you got a serial killer who comes back from beyond the grave, so to speak. It's,
Sold.
Yeah. I seem to recall it having a fairly strong performance by an actress in it who looks all kinds of crazy. But I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I don't think it's top tier X-Files, but I think it's one that's certainly going to be better than the two outings we've had recently. You know, these last two episodes have been a bit hard to get through, so it'd be nice just to get
Good stuff. Well, I look forward to checking out that one.